Day 3. Alright, this is really amazing. I can't wait to see what is the outcome of all the groups. Yesterday was incredible. All the concepts, all the groups have done an amazing job with all their prototypes. And really, I came in and I was half expecting a room full of zombies, but everyone was here and starting to work and crack on and everything, so that was incredible. So yeah, looking forward to what happens at the end of this day. Yeah. So basically what we'll start working towards is the final thing. So it'll be working on a final prototype. So don't think about the presentations as such that much, because it's just about refining your concepts and getting further with them. Thinking big, go and test it out, do videos, try it, act it out, you know, do things, go big. Yeah?
Go big.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't go
No, don't go. No. It's like very controversial. Okay. Yeah?
Yeah, and it's great to see all the prototypes. I think they really do help in, highlighting what it is that your idea is. And I know for me, I've been running around all day organising things, and just seeing those presentations last night, I was so impressed by the things that have been developed, and they really helped clearly highlight what the things we were working towards were. There might have been still things you need to work through, but the message and the theme of what you're trying to get towards was really, really well sort of illustrated by those. And so yeah, and I'm a bit disappointed though, because no one took my advice of being crappy, because they're all awesome. So I love them. I love the hive truck. I love that. Was it little David go and have a look and see how it looks? That's amazing. And yeah, no, just really great. I'm really keen to see how things sort of develop and how you take those ideas forward. And again, just use them to communicate with each other, make sure you're on the same page as to what it is that you want the service to become, or what potentially it can become. And again, today it's meant to be fun. It's not, if you're struggling, if you kind of still kind of come to consensus, or you're not entirely sure kind of maybe exactly what it is you're going to be uploading at 3 o'clock, don't worry too much about it. I mean, this weekend is meant to be fun. It is meant to be a fun process where you get to read and work with people you don't know and make new friends. And so it's really just a matter of uploading whatever you've got, sharing whatever you've got in a spirit of collaboration, rather than you've got to have this really perfectly polished video or PowerPoint presentation or role play or something you can show people. Just have fun with it, and if it means kind of like taking a break and going back out onto the street and speaking to some more people, because you think, well, actually we've changed it a little bit, we need to speak with someone. Split roles up in your group. Send a couple of people out onto the street, send them Druthy, send them up to Overgate or something like that, and just grab some people and say, hey, in a polite way, of course, say, hey, what would you think of this idea? And that might help, and then you can phone back. So just really think about what it is they've got to deliver today and how you can best break up those tasks with the people you've got. If that means one person goes out and takes photos for your presentation, one person films some stuff, one person gets some music for a video.
Cool. I think Sarah just mentioned the only point I was probably supposed to say. Upload is 3 p.m. So that's the only hard and fast
And
rule.
just to check, everyone is on Planet Jam, and everyone's in a group on Planet Jam. Awesome.
Yay.
Before it crashes again.
Yes.
Great.
Yes. Cool. So just keep uploading throughout the day, because it will probably crash again. So just keep kind of putting stuff there already, kind of whatever you have. Or there's groups that had already things figured out, websites or posters or videos. Just push them there, get them there, share them with the world as well as amongst ourselves. Yeah.
And next we'll be having Mike, who you will be familiar with by now. He's going to do a little presentation on one of the tools that we have, which is the business model canvas. It might be quite useful for some of you who have your idea and want to start refining it a bit further. So he's going to talk you through that. Yeah.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are we?
Good.
How are we feeling? Feeling good? Oh, it's Sunday morning. Sunday morning, I love giving talks on a Sunday morning. Absolutely. Because anyway, I'm the chance during the week, and I feel as if actually I live in this space. There's some of my third-year students are here, and we were in here for most of Wednesday, and I feel almost, this is almost like womb-like. It's got that sense of security and familiarity to it. Did you enjoy all the pizzas last night?
Yeah.
And the food and the hospitality. And we've got some very special people to thank for that. And we're going to be thanking them particularly later on today. But it's Richard and Lynn, our sponsors, up the back. I think a round of applause. And we were blogging about this yesterday because it's not just about money, it's about the fact that they are here, that they are talking to you, that they're giving you critical feedback, that they're being supportive, that they're taking an interest in the whole thing, right? And they are our partners in this whole thing. They're going to be giving a short talk here at 11 o'clock, so we're going to have a break in proceedings there. So it's wonderful that you can join us here again today. We were supposed to be Skyping with the jam in Beirut. They were being a little bit late, and Richard quipped, well, you know, Beirut, odd things can happen. And then we got a tweet through saying that all the power in Beirut has just failed. So they're actually waiting for the power station to get up and running. But that's the thing that we were talking about yesterday. You know, we live in this tiny little world, this tiny little planet. And we have no idea what other people are trying to deal with. We have no idea the conditions that other people... We're all having fun. All over the globe we're having fun. But we do have to be a little bit mindful of one of the things that this jam does is it gives us a sense of internationalism. It gives us a sense of the very different conditions that people who are passionate about the same things. All these people are passionate about design, passionate about service design. Some of them are dealing with civil war. Some of them are dealing with famine. Some of them are dealing with all kinds of crap that we just can't imagine, okay? But we are in solidarity with all of them for this entire weekend and hopefully thereafter as well. So there endeth the lesson on this. And, right, this is only going to last about 5 minutes. Design is great in imagining things. Design is great at visioning. As I said yesterday, design is fantastic at framing problems, identifying problems, and coming up with solutions. If we don't connect those with the real world, if we can't figure out, actually, who's going to pay for this? How's this going to work? How's this going to be sustainable? Where does the money come from to do this? Then it's just good ideas. It's just good ideas. So we have to be business conscious. And that's not about making shed loads of money. That's not what I'm talking about at all. It's actually figuring out how does a great idea get supported, come into the world, and make a difference. You know, if we actually believe in this stuff, we can change the world in 48 hours. And believe you me, we can actually, or we can come up with an idea that has got a sustainable future ahead of it. But we need to think about that. And we've got 4 hours to think about it. Right, what you've been working on really, really well, and I echo all the comments made earlier, what you've been working on is the aspect of the creative development, identifying what the issue is, identifying the problem, coming up with a creative solution. Right, who's going to pay for that? How's that actually going to work? How do we think through those issues? Now there's one framework that's been developed over the last few years that I think is fantastic, and it's particularly great if you're working in a collaborative way and you have to work fast. And it's also great if you think visually, because it's a visual system. It's called Business Model Generation. And it centres around a business model canvas, which will become clear. We've printed a load out. We've certainly got enough printed out for every team. And we want you, as the day goes on, to start filling that out and start thinking about how is that going to work. This is a system that is co-created, almost like a long jam, a global jam, by 470 people from 45 countries. So it wasn't just one very smart person working on their own. This came out of collaboration. It echoes the point that I made earlier, yesterday, that, you know, the more diverse people you get collaborating, the better the ideas. And that's what this exemplifies. So business model generation. And a way of understanding it, I think, is best explained by a very short little video that I'll show in a moment. This is the business model canvas. Could you just hold up one of those? We've printed them out quite large. And it's got these boxes. And if you like, this side of the canvas is the demand side, and this is the supply side. So this is the side of it where you're thinking about who are the customers, or who are the people, who are the clients, who are the users? How do we reach them? How do we communicate with them? And where does the money come from? Not necessarily, as we'll see in a few minutes, from the people that we're providing the service for. And what's the value proposition? I want all of you to be thinking really hard about what's the value proposition? Where do people see value? Where do people see an advantage in what you're offering as opposed to anything else? Then we've got the stuff. What are the activities that you need to do to supply that? What are the resources that this project would need? What partners? Because most businesses or most social enterprises, they can't provide everything, so they need partners to work with. We'll work through very, very quickly a couple of examples and how much is that going to cost. Let's look at a quick video that explains this extremely well. In a moment, I was preparing this presentation at midnight last night, so I can't quite remember the sequence of the slides. This is the kind of thing that after an hour or so working on this, you'll have produced. You'll have started filling out the boxes. You'll have begun to think about what some of the issues are involved. And this very short video, ladies and gentlemen, that you've been waiting for with bated breath, will explain more about it.
An organisation's business model can be described with 9 basic building blocks: your customer segments, your value proposition for each segment, the channels to reach customers, customer relationships you establish, the revenue streams you generate, the key resources and key activities you require to create value, the key partners, and the cost structure of the business model. But it's not sufficient to just enumerate the 9 building blocks. What you really want to do is to map them out on a pre-structured canvas. This is what we call the business model canvas, the tool that helps you map, discuss, design, and invent new business models. Let's briefly go through the 9 building blocks, starting with the customer segments. These are all the people or organisations for which you're creating value. This includes simple users and paying customers. For each segment, you have a specific value proposition. These are the bundles of products and services that create value for your customers. Channels describe through which touchpoints you're interacting with customers and delivering value. Customer relationships outline the type of relationship you're establishing with your customers. The revenue streams make clear how and through which pricing mechanisms your business model is capturing value. Then you need to describe the infrastructure to create, deliver, and capture value. The key resources show which assets are indispensable in your business model. Key activities show which things you really need to be able to perform them. The key partners show who can help you leverage your business model, since you won't own all key resources yourself, nor will you perform all key activities. Then once you understand your business model's infrastructure, you'll also have an idea of its cost structure. So with the business model canvas, you can map out your entire business model in one image. This works for startup entrepreneurs just as well as for the most senior executives.
Okay, so when people start up a business, there's this great myth you have to produce a business plan. The advantage of this is that it's a kind of business plan that is on one sheet of paper. It captures everything, and it captures importantly the dynamics, and it captures the values upon which you view this enterprise and on which other people view it as well. I'm going to work through a couple of very brief examples. Amazon, just so that you get a sense of this. What's the value proposition? It's an online retail store. That's right, that's why we're attracted to Amazon. It's got a global consumer market, right? Consumers all over the world. The relationship, customized online profiles of recommendations. The channel between the supplier and the customer is the internet. The revenue stream comes from sales margin. Their activities are our fulfillment infrastructure, which is warehouses, etc., and IT infrastructure and software. Those are the activities and resources. They're partners, logistic partners, either companies that will distribute the stuff, the Royal Mail, etc., and other affiliates. The cost structure is marketing, and the cost for all this. Interestingly, with Amazon, this model has shifted in the last few years. Increasingly, when we buy stuff from them, we're not actually buying it from Amazon, we're buying it from the Amazon marketplace. So their business model shifted, and that's one of the key things to remember, that business models evolve, they change, and we have to think very creatively about them. So this gives us a simple idea of how one business would work. If we think of Apple and iTunes and iPod, what are the value propositions? Why do we use iTunes? Well, we like the sleek design, not only of the iTunes store, but of the iPod and everything else that comes with it. It offers us great organisation of digital music and a legal avenue for increased digital music traffic. So those are the value propositions. That's why people use it. That's why people buy it. The relationship is by hardware distribution, free software downloads, and paying for downloads. The segments, the customer segments, Apple geeks, people like myself, music lovers, gadget people, the music industry. The revenue streams, we don't pay for the software, we pay an awful lot for the hardware, and then we pay for the music. Apple's activities, yeah, they've got designers, programmers, lawyers, etc., hardware design, software development. But they don't create the music, so their big partner is the music industry. If they couldn't get that partnership to work, there's no business. They have no content. So they're providing a means of getting the content to the consumer. Groupon, getting a little bit more complicated now. Groupon, value propositions, in this case for two people. We've got value proposition for the consumer, discounts, bargains, crowdsourcing, for the merchant, effective advertising, fast bill prospect list, sell and fulfillment platform, different ways by which relationships are developed with the customer, all of the channels, social networking, mobile apps, email campaigns, etc. The customer segments, local consumers, affluent, students, singles, etc. And then the kind of stores and other outlets that use it, looking at different venue streams, etc. I'm not going to talk through this in detail. The point about this model, the point of showing you this, is that it can be as complex as you want it to be. We can start with a very simple idea as to identifying who your customer is, etc. This is a great one because this came out of a student project. This is product to you. What's the value proposition here? To connect to all the closest shops that are open, it can bring you what you need when you need it. It's faster than regular online shopping, a price that's lower than ordering prepared food, convenience from home just by clicking. So you're at home, you're in your house, you're in your apartment, and you want something, and you want it now. And you know that Spar or Nisa have got it, and this is a delivery service that will get it from the nearest store to you within 20 minutes. It's offering that convenience. Who are the customer segments? Young people, in brackets, laziness. I'm quite sure what this is intimating here. Business people who've got lack of time, and housewives who have a sense of urgency. So they've identified three different segments there. And also convenience stores, because that will increase their custom. For the consumer, it's got a free app, free delivery, but they are getting revenue from 10% of the sale. Key resources of associated stores, a program, apps, etc. The partners, obviously, of the retail industry, and so on. What other examples have we got? We can make it, before going through that, just to point out the fact that a person who can be paying for your business may not necessarily be the person who uses it. If we were to look at this model, in terms, for example, of Google, Google receives all of its revenue from advertisers. We don't pay anything for the use of Google. We are the product. We are sold by Google and Facebook. So we're actually the product that they sell, and they get the revenue stream from that. Just in explaining this, finally, we can make it as visual as we want. We can look at the real sense of dynamic that's going on. We can illustrate it in any way that we want. We can make it as complex or we can make it as simple as we want. It is a canvas. It is an empty sheet to imagine how your business model will work. The sheets are over there. We're going to give one to each group, and your jam doctor will be round as the morning and afternoon goes on to give you some guidance on how to fit it in. Are there any questions at this stage? Good. Right, carry on.